Good evening, everybody. Welcome to what is going to be an absolutely spectacular evening, the 2025 UN Nansen Refugee Awards. My name is Leanne Manus, and it is my absolute honor to be with you this evening and to be your host for these Nansen Awards. It's not my first time on stage. I did this back in 2019, and it felt thereafter the world changed suddenly after 2020. So to be back here in 2025 is an absolute honor to celebrate some of the most incredible people that we have in this world, to celebrate Nansen heroes, people who saw a need and answered a call, who did not give up when they were met with challenges, but created solutions that have changed millions of lives. The Nansen Awards were established in 1954. Now, these awards are here to recognize those who go above and beyond to support people who have been forced to flee and those who are stateless as well. It was named after the very first High Commissioner for Refugees, Fridtjof Nansen, and the award embodies his values of compassion, boldness, and most importantly, courage. If we take our minds back to 1922, he, for his impact as a humanitarian, won the Nobel Peace Prize. And tonight, we're going to be honoring visionary leaders and grassroots heroes who are here with us this evening. These are people who refuse to look away. They stare it in the face. They see others in need and respond with compassion from their hearts. This year's winners show us what support for refugees at every stage of their journey looks like. From the moment they flee to offering solutions, and most importantly, offering hope, because that is something that seems to be missing in this day and age. They help families rebuild and reclaim their dignity. And tonight, one thing I can assure every single one of you as we sit here in one of the most beautiful evenings in Geneva, Switzerland, you are going to be inspired by not only the individuals and the winners that you meet this evening, but the artists that we have performing for us tonight. They are absolutely incredible. But ladies and gentlemen, I think to kick us off this evening, please, I ask you to take a look at the screens behind me that will show you a video that I think will set the tone for this evening beautifully.
Compassion means little unless it moves. Born in Norway in 1861, Fridtjof Nansen rose to global prominence as a scientist, polar explorer, Nobel Peace Prize laureate, diplomat, and humanitarian. Acting as the League of Nations' first ever High Commissioner for Refugees, he introduced one of his most enduring achievements, the Nansen Passport, a simple document allowing for safe passage of refugees, which saved thousands during the time period of 1921 to 1944. Today, his legacy of kindness and courage lives on through the Nansen Refugee Award. In Ukraine, a volunteer network carries hope to the front lines.
Вы извините, у меня руки так колотятся. Там очень страшно.
Сльози на очах, бо за що я просто роблю, це чисто людське.
In Mexico, a business leader creates opportunities.
Ya que tenemos un antecedente de modelo, lo adaptamos para refugiados.
And a factory.
Sentí una alegría, una emoción porque es mi primer trabajo.
Builds futures. In Tajikistan,
when we started, we had just 3 rooms with 2 teachers.
The dream of education.
Right now, we have more than 50 classes.
Awakens. In Iraq, a survivor of the Kurdish genocide returns home to empower refugee women and girls.
It really is centered around hope, resilience, and strength.
Transforming pain into purpose. And finally, the 2025 laureate from Cameroon honors deep traditions of humanity. opening his heart and his community to those fleeing war.
On va faire autrement puisque quand quelqu'un est en détresse, il y a quelqu'un qui ouvre ta porte, tu regardes.
If the tables were turned and you were adrift, lost, desperate, who would you look to for help? To lend a hand when you need it the most? To guide you through the storm? These are the faces of empathy. These are the movers. These are the 2025 Nansen Refugee Award winners. Nansen, Humanity in Action.
It's amazing to meet them, to see them, and to have them here in our presence is amazing. Well, you know, there's a saying that not all superheroes wear capes. So tonight I decided to wear a cape because I absolutely cannot compare to these individuals that we're going to celebrate here tonight. I'm getting excited at just the thought of them being here. Some of them having left their home countries for the very first time to be here with us this evening. So I'm not only excited about meeting all of these amazing awardees that we're going to meet tonight. I've also been incredibly excited to meet somebody who I look up to as an absolute shining example of using influence in the best possible way. This woman has done more, I think, for refugees, highlighting the plight and the work she does and the words she uses and the films that she is in and curates. It gives me absolute pleasure to welcome onto stage Academy Award-winning actor, producer, humanitarian, and UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen, Cate Blanchett.
Thank you. They listened, they created, and they acted. They led by example. And they showed people far more powerful and wealthy what needs to be done to give refugees a chance at building a better future, to give refugees opportunities and stability and a path to self-reliance.
Thank you very, very much, Cate. And I have to share the sentiments of what you've just said about our outgoing UN High Commissioner. We thank you for the service that you've done, for the work that you've done, and the dedication that you have shown to this calling, because it is a calling. There's no other way. It is a calling. Another thing that I think really stood out for me is something where you talk about stories. Storytelling is something that stays with everybody for the rest of their lives. And if we keep telling this story and we never, ever stop, people perhaps forget the facts, but they remember the stories, and that's what moves them. So I want to introduce you to our first performer, somebody who has a story that it's almost made up. It's so difficult to understand that one individual has a story like this, and yet he makes the story so beautiful. He is an incredible dancer. He's a choreographer. He was born in Syria and was raised as a stateless refugee. His performance have inspired audiences around the world, and let me promise you one thing, you are going to be inspired to another level this evening. He is a member of the Golden State Ballet Company in San Diego. His journey is as powerful as his art. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome on stage to open up our beautiful Nansen Award ceremonies, the one and only Ahmed Jodeh. What did I tell you? What a performance. Ahmed, thank you. Please, one more round of applause for Ahmed as he opened up tonight. Oh. You know, I had stories and we had some, I tell you about storytelling, but we sat last night over a plate of food, having dinner, and he was relaying his stories of going back to Syria and dancing in the rubble. Imagine that as part of a documentary. And I mean, that was just absolutely beautiful. And my wish is that he goes back there, doesn't dance on the rubble, but dances on magnificent stages to show the world what it is that these beautiful countries can actually produce. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me pleasure to welcome up onto stage the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, Filippo Grandi.
Bonsoir, good evening, everybody. I have to tell you that to speak after Liane, Kate, and Ahmed is not very easy. But I want to join them in welcoming all of you here and welcoming our winners here. And let me take this opportunity to thank Kate and Ahmed, who are such different but powerful ambassadors for our message. And say that their voice, their movements, what they do, what they convey is much, much more powerful than any words that I can share with you, but I'll still want to share a few thoughts. This may well be, well, it will be, sorry, not may well be, it will be my last Nansen evening in this capacity. I hope they'll invite me back, but it will be in this capacity the last one. And it's a very emotional evening for me to address all of you. This is an evening in which somehow all that we at UNHCR do comes together. It's like an embrace to all of our work and all the refugees and the displaced and the stateless people that we care for around the world. Symbolically, they come together in this evening in Geneva. I was so happy that we could come back here to the Bâtiment des Forces Motrices, to this beautiful building where we had some memorable Nansen evenings in the past, but we haven't had for a while. I remember, I'm old enough to remember the 50th anniversary of UNHCR in this very building. It has a long history, as we have as UNHCR, you know, our history intertwined with Geneva. So anyway, this is very symbolic and very important, and allow me to share some thanks with some of you that are here. First and foremost to our sponsors that have loyally and generously supported the Nansen Award project for many years, and this year's again, Norway and Switzerland, whose ambassadors and representatives are here in the room. Same for the IKEA Foundation that once again supported us. A very big thanks to the city and canton de Genève. Merci beaucoup, Nathalie. Merci, Alfonso. Nathalie is here representing the Conseil d'État du Canton de Genève. The Mayor of Geneva is here with us. You honor us with your presence, but you also mark this very strong friendship between our organization that was born here and this city of refuge, as I always say. I want to thank the selection committee that has selected the global and the regional winners, Norway, Switzerland representatives, the Council of Europe, ICFA, which is a consortium of NGO representing civil society, our Executive Committee representative, the former chair, Ambassador of Ecuador, is here with us, and Maimuna, one of the regional winners of 2024. Thank you all for, as always, your very wise choices in choosing the regional and the global winners. We will have a chance to appreciate their choices in a few moments. I want to also thank many governments, without singling them out, but all those governments, all those countries that host refugees who are here with us today. You probably all know that we do this in coincidence with the progress review of the Global Refugee Compact that is taking place not far from here this week, and more than 300 refugees will participate. There will be a refugee for at least one refugee or displaced person or a person that has lived through this experience in each of the events of this review. And this is thanks to the countries thanks to them, of course, but thanks also to the countries hosting them, and thanks to Switzerland for receiving them here and providing generous support. I think it is really important to flag that. I want to also, I can't recognize each one of you. There's so many friends, allies, supporters that are here in the room tonight, but allow me to mention a couple of people. I want to, and I hope she doesn't mind if I say that our senior and first Goodwill Ambassador, Barbara Hendricks, is here with us, and I want to welcome her. And I want to recognize the now former CEO of IKEA, Jesper Brodin, who is also here with us. And has been a formidable, just like Barbara, a formidable supporter of the cause of refugees. Thank you both. Special thanks and a special welcome to some of you who have very close ties with the Nansen Award. Dr. Kanai, who is here with us once more, and who with Mrs. Kanai. Dr. Kanai is an extraordinary philanthropist and supporter of UNHCR and the winner of the Nansen Award. I think it used to be called the Nansen Medal, which I like much better. It was that in 2006. And we have also Jean Dawood here, who was the regional winner for Europe of the Nansen Award last year. Welcome. Much has been said at the opening of the evening about Fridtjof Nansen, the first High Commissioner for Refugees of the League of Nations in the 20s, more than 100 years ago. So I won't repeat much, but I want to also say a few words about Fridtjof Nansen. Because, when I was a child, my dad, for reasons that I'm not so sure about, my dad was an Italian person, nothing to do with Norway, but my dad had a passion for Fridtjof Nansen. And he made me read a small book, which I still visualize in my mind, on the biography of Fridtjof Nansen. And since that time, something was put in me, an admiration for somebody especially that could do so many things in his lifetime. Be an explorer, a famous explorer, be a scientist, be a diplomat, and be a humanitarian. And a humanitarian that focused all his life, or his humanitarian life, on population movements, which were very complex, especially after the First World War. So that somehow put a seed somewhere, and who knows, maybe that seed grew in the right way. Fridtjof Nansen was really a father figure, I would say, not only in terms of refugees, but also in the defense of international humanitarian law, of course, international refugee law. And what I think we at UNHCR like about Nansen is that he was a man of principle, but also a man able to find solutions to problems. And I think that this navigation that we have to do daily, that is the history of our life, in a way, of our professional life, between defending principles and pragmatically finding solutions for people on the move, summarizes so well our work, our challenges, and our opportunities. And Nansen embodied that balance between the two better than anybody else I can imagine. It is very important to say this, I think, during this week, the week in which we review the progress made in implementing the Global Compact on Refugees, in which, once again, we have to reaffirm principles, but we have to also find solutions, practical solutions to move on, as, by the way, our Nansen Award winners will, they will give very practical examples of exactly this, this balance. You heard those of you who were at the review meeting yesterday heard what one of the initial speakers, Zakia, a former refugee from Afghanistan, now has become a French citizen. She is a Paralympic medal winner at the Paralympic Games in Paris last year. So, like Ahmed, another prodigious story of achievement in spite of adversity. She said, she made a beautiful speech that really should be read in its entirety, but she repeated, solidarity saves lives. La solidarité sauve des vies. And I think that it is important as we embark on this celebration of our winners to remember this important sentence. And once again, I want to thank all of you. I want to thank all of you for being here tonight, for making this possible, for celebrating with us those whose achievements we celebrate tonight, but also for accompanying our journey in UNHCR and my journey, my professional journey, not only in these past 10 years, but in the more than 40 years that I have dedicated to humanitarian work. And I thank all of you, representative of states, representative of civil society, people with lived experience, as we say now, refugees, displaced, stateless people, people from the business community, faith, sports, community leaders. That's the spirit of the Compact on Refugees, and you're all here tonight to help us celebrate these important achievements. So thank you very much. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for help us share the hope and inspiration that our winners will convey to all of us tonight. Grazie a tutti.
Hi, Commissioner. I'm going to ask you to come back on stage. I'm just practicing your legs. Thank you so much. You are going to hand out these amazing awards, and we're going to meet them. Oh, no, don't be silly. We're just keeping you fit, keeping you fit. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to meet our regional award winners. And we're going to start off with Asia and the Pacific. Now, this year's awardee is a refugee who co-founded a school for young Afghan refugees, helping them access education. Take a look.
When was I in 11th class? Everybody preparing for the college, universities. I just think about how can I do my university? How can I continue my my study? Education is very important. It doesn't matter where are you from. I born in Kabul, Afghanistan. We came to Tajikistan in 2012. Right now, I'm director of Oriental Learning Center. The center is especially for refugee and local people. When we started, we had just 3 rooms with 2 teachers and me and my husband. Right now, we have more than 50 classes.
If I want to describe her in one word, we can say the superwoman. From her nothing, she provided us this learning center. And I'm very grateful. She can be my inspiration.
The center is managed by a capable Afghan woman. It shows how women can play an important role in education and in our community.
When I see the students, the women, they come to our center and I see the faces, they're very happy. And this thing also inspired me to face every challenge. Today, I see that true success is not measured by what we have achieved for ourselves, but by how many lives we have touched.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you about superheroes? We got a lot of superheroes here in the audience with us tonight. Let's welcome her up on stage, ladies and gentlemen, Nigara Naziri.
Dear distinguished guests, esteemed organizers, and dear friends, it's an honor to stand before you as the 2025 UNHCR Nansen Refugee Award regional winner for Asia Pacific. This recognition is not mine alone. It belongs to the whole refugee women who, despite countless hardships, fought for their dreams and never gave up. Being a refugee means leaving your homeland, being separated from loved ones, and facing daily uncertainty. Yet, even in that hardship, I discovered a chance to redefine myself, to transform pain into purpose, and to turn hope into action for others. I was born in Kabul, Afghanistan, and came to Tajikistan as a child with my mother and siblings. We arrived with fear and uncertainty, but Tajikistan quickly became more than a place of refuge. It became a home, a place where I could finish my school, earn my degree, find love, support in my husband, and build a life I once thought impossible. The journey was not easy, starting from nothing. Facing doubt, lacking resources, I often wondered if I could succeed. What lifted me each time was faith in education and the belief that knowledge can transform a life, even in the hardest circumstances. With this belief, my husband, Wakil Ahmad Nazari, and I founded Oriental Learning Center. It began as a small classroom with 2 teachers, but become a welcoming space where refugee and host community learn side by side, build confidence, and discover a shared sense of belonging. Every time I look into eyes of Oriental student, I reminded that change begins with a single step. Education changed my life. Through the Duffy Scholarship, I learned what truly means for a refugee girl to study. The chance to stand tall, to make choices, and to dream. That experience inspired me the vision for Ariana. The idea comes during a long journey to language courses in Dushanbe. Those hours of travel from Wahda to Dushanbe made me realize how rare and precious education is, especially for women and girls. Every girl without access to school, every woman barred from education is a lost opportunity for her family, her country, and for humanity. Today, our center welcomes Afghan and Tajik students, guided by dedicated teachers. Together, they prove that learning can unite community, no matter their backgrounds. Our ambition is to expand Ariana's program across Tajikistan, reaching more refugees and those in need, and providing opportunities to growth, learning, and personal development. I extend my deepest gratitude to my family, my father-in-law, Dawlat Muhammad Nazari, my teacher, Chas An, the UNHCR, and the Nansen team for believing in education and the strait of refugees. To the people and government of Tajikistan, thank you for offering safety, dignity, and a chance to rebuild life. با مردم و حکومت تاجیکستان سپاسگزارم که امنیت، شرف و امکان از نو ساختن زندگی را فراهم کردم. A special thank to my husband for standing by me through every challenge and joy, for strengthening and faith, for keeping hope alive in my heart. His love, support, and belief in me have made all the difference. Finally, I dedicate this award to every Afghan and girls who dreams of education. May this recognition remind the world that our voices, our dreams, and our futures must never be forgotten. Education changed lives, and educated women change the world. Tashakkur, Rahmat. Thank you.
Thank you, Nagara. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Now, the next winner that we're going to announce is our Europe regional winner. And this is an organization called Proliska, and it is one that saves lives on the front lines in Ukraine.
Проліска – це така перша квітка, яка пробивається крізь кригу, ламає її і приносить, і квітне, і приємне в цей світ після холоду, занепаду і криги.
Тікай! Ложись!
Заїжджаємо в найпроблемніші місця і вивозимо зазвичай найпроблемніших людей. Тобто це старенькі, маломобільні, немобільні, поранені.
3 дня назад меня 2 убило. Я чудом остался жив. Мне в грудь прилетело, а 9 в бровь. Они приехали, я с церкви кричу: заберите меня.
Це найперша допомога, яку людина повинна отримати. Психологічна підтримка.
Вы извините, у меня руки вот так колотятся. Там очень страшно. Вылетело все. Вот это же после него осталось. Это пожар был. Это был пожар.
Доброго ранку, я вас вітаю на цьому нашому дорогому місці в офісі. Сьогодні у нас все стандартно.
А якщо дивитися сьогодні на проліску, то це приблизно 1 мільйон людей, які отримують різні види допомоги від проліски на рік. Ми і евакуюємо людей з першої лінії, ми і надаємо всю необхідну допомогу в транзитних центрах. Ми і ремонтуємо, надаємо необхідну підтримку місцям тимчасового поселення, щоб людям було куди селити. Це все є така повний цикл евакуації порятунку людей з фронту.
Коли я бачу, що ось мене обнімає жіночка, каже, дякую вам велике за всю вашу допомогу, ну просто сльози на очах, бо за що я просто роблю, ну, це чисто людське, мені дуже приємно.
Проліска – це не тільки робота, це волонтерство і просто допомога людям, і готові допомагати. Тут ти відчуваєш емоцію, ти вивіз цю людину. Ти бачиш її, що ти своїми руками там привіз кудись поселив, що вона жива, лишила.
Жив-здоров.
Help me welcome on stage the president of Priliska, Ivan Kaplan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor for me to stand before you today and accept the Nansen Award on behalf of the entire team of the humanitarian mission Proliska. This award does not belong to me personally, it belongs to every employee and volunteer of Proliska and the entire enormous humanitarian and volunteer movement which has been working for 12 years of war in Ukraine to help those in need. Unfortunately, volunteers and humanitarian workers are constantly targeted while helping people living on the front lines. More than 150 volunteers and humanitarian workers have died during the war in Ukraine. This tragic trend has touched also our team. Our volunteers and staff provide assistance in areas where conditions are the most difficult for people. 96 times our officers and volunteers have been attacked where they provide humanitarian work and evacuate people. On 8th March this year, our staff member Mykola from Dobropila in Donetsk region saw how a Russian missile hit a residential building where an elderly woman lived, a woman with limited mobility. Her apartment caught fire. He ran to pull her out of the flames, and when they managed to escape from the destroyed apartment, Russia attacked again with cluster munitions, targeting rescue healthcare services, humanitarian workers and medical workers, all those who were providing help. And Mykola was among them. He sustained serious injuries and he lost 4 liters of blood. But doctors achieved the impossible and brought him back to life. Today, he continues working in our team. Guardian angels preserved his life for his service to people. This story is about the values of our team, about the choice our colleague made to save the life of this elderly woman. And this is yet another reminder to the world that there are no rules in this war, and by saving others, you yourself can become a target. Therefore, this award is a recognition of our team's values, and it belongs to our entire team, which currently consists of over 1,000 dedicated people who save others every day. I would like to express my deep, sincere gratitude to the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. This year marks 10 years since our team became an implementing partner of UNHCR and 20 years since our organization was founded. Thanks to the UNHCR, we can assist about 1 million people in need every year. I'm glad that the Nansen Award returns to Ukraine once again. This is very important in these difficult times when Russia is bombing our cities and villages, hospitals, power stations and railway stations. Thank you everyone for this trust. Thank you for the recognition, and thank you to everyone who proves every day that humanity is the greatest strength of humankind.
Congratulations. Thank you. Yevhen, thank you for being here. Thank you for the work that you do as well. It's absolutely amazing. Now we turn to the Americas. And this year's winner is a trailblazer and business leader who has inspired over 650 companies in Mexico to hire refugees. Take a look.
El mundo está lleno de retos y sin duda alguna, sobre todo mi padre y mi madre siempre y nos educaron de que si teníamos algo había que compartirlo. Soy Pablo Moreno Cadena, director global de Asuntos Corporativos de MAVE. La característica de MAVE ha sido que es una empresa muy humana. Ya que tenemos un antecedente de modelo, lo adaptamos para refugiados.
Sentí una alegría, una emoción porque es mi primer trabajo. Para mi familia es muy importante porque pues tenemos nuestros hijos. Por medio del trabajo pues podemos darle lo que es vivienda.
La inclusión es un tema sistémico. Pablo poco a poco nos fue llevando a que el sistema se volviera inclusivo y que el sistema pudiera lograr que tuviéramos historias de éxito.
Estoy muy agradecida con MAVE porque han sido organizaciones y empresas que me han ayudado grandemente. Yo me siento más comprometida con la empresa por todo lo que me da, por todo lo que recibo.
Entonces, yo quisiera transmitirle a todos los capitanes de las empresas por adoptar estos modelos en que puedan incorporar a los refugiados. Va a ser una de las satisfacciones más grandes del mundo. De verdad te cambia la vida, pero lo más importante de todo, es simplemente que es un ganar-ganar para todos.
Here he is. Pablo Moreno, congratulations.
Well,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Commissioner Grandi, Filippo, muchas gracias. Well, standing before you tonight, I'm humble, beyond words and very emotional. To receive the Nansen Award is not just a personal honor, it's a profound recognition of the journey we have taken together, refugees, institutions, governments, and all of us in the private sector who have decided not to look away. So I'm here as a proud Mexican, as a father, as a member of the business community, but above all, as someone who believes deeply in the power of second chances. At MAVE, we took our first step in 2017, and we were unsure. We had a lot of doubts about our readiness, about the risk, about whether our teams and communities would accept this idea. But what we found was extraordinary. Honestly, it was. We found strength, we found dignity, and we found hope, all embodied in every single refugee we welcomed to the company. So since then, the movement we helped spark in Mexico has given a second opportunity to over 53,000 refugees across more than 650 participating companies. And this is a very valuable investment in the long term. The turnover among refugee employees, according to our data in MAVE, just 0.9% versus over 12% on other employees. A number that speaks not only just of loyalty, but of gratitude, inclusion, and resilience. These individuals are not just workers, they're leaders, they're colleagues, they're friends, and they remind us every single day what courage truly looks like. So this award does not belong to me only, it belongs to every refugee who refused to give up. It belongs to the Mexican Commission for Refugee Assistance, COMAR, to the government of Mexico, our state and local officials, and to many partners in the UNHCR who believed in this vision. It belongs to my wife, Lulu. You're making it a little bit more difficult. It belongs to my children, Pablo and Rodrigo, who have supported every long trip, every difficult decision, and every step forward we have taken. So I've been notified that I'm one of the few private sector representatives who's received this award so far. And believe me, I find that challenging and refreshing. So now we can show our peers in the private sector that with engagement and the will to change, any company, any leader can become an agent of human dignity, not just economic growth. So I come to believe that refugees are not a burden, they are an opportunity to build better teams, stronger communities, and above all, a fair world. So let us keep on going. Let us bring more companies to the table. Remove more barriers, tell more stories. Let us create a system that sees people, not labels or numbers. Let us make second chances the rule, not the exception. Because the future we build together will not be measured by the products we sell or the profits we make, but by the lives we change. Thank you very much for this extraordinary honor.
Well done, Pablo. Thank you again. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh. What a gem. Thank you, Pavlo. Thank you so, so much. All right, now we look at this year's Middle East and North Africa awardee. She is an aid worker and is very, very passionate. She's an advocate for women's rights and the visionary founder of the Lotus Flower. It's a women-led organization bringing hope and healing to survivors of conflict in Iraq.
I'm a genocide survivor from Saddam Hussein's era. We were actually destined to be buried alive after being in prison. We had a miraculous escape, and then we arrived here to safety. Anyone that faces adversity, especially through conflict and displacement, the sheer resilience and strength it takes to overcome something like that gives you the tools to bring so much into the world. My name's Taban Sharesh. I'm the CEO and founder of the Lotus Flower. We support women and girls impacted by conflict and displacement. We operate in mainly Iraq and the Kurdish region at the moment.
يعني بيرك هاتن فيدري ومدورش بيرك عربكين يعني سهو تشتك بيركين.
We provide livelihood opportunities for a lot of these women. It really is centered around hope, resilience and strength.
صراحة أو تشتي هكا ما ديتينا تشتكي سهل مو أو تشتي داخلي ماذا ما تدفعيني أم رابنا صرفوا أم جارك دي رابن قوي ببن أم قاربن مساعدة خو بكن ودورا مساعدة خلق كدي بكن هر كشككي وجنكي يجي وهر مروبك الجهكي مهمة بعيشي.
It's phenomenal to see that when you open doors and bring opportunities to women, especially in refugee camps, what the potential is for somebody.
تجي بنابر تشويدا أوجه أغابويا. طبعاً يعني جهشة نازية.
Ladies and gentlemen, Taban Sharesh.
So well deserved.
Just stand in this dress first. And I can't believe my dog made the cut. So thank you so much. And before I begin, I wanted to thank the High Commissioner, Filippo Grandi, for his leadership over the past 10 years, and the UNHCR team for being so consistent and supportive with us. Tonight, I want you to step into my shoes for a moment. I was 4 years old when I was imprisoned with my mother and grandparents for being Kurdish under Saddam Hussein's regime. After weeks in prison, our names were called out and we thought we were being released. Instead, we were taken to the buses with diggers in front of them. The adults collapsed, screamed, begged, because they knew exactly what those diggers were for. This was how people were buried alive. First, you were made to watch the graves being dug, then forced to lie inside alive, and soil shoveled over you slowly and deliberately. It was meant to be a slow, torturous death. But I survived because 2 Kurdish drivers chose to act that day. What followed was a year in hiding, dodging bombs and bullets, fleeing for our lives. We were meant to meet my father in Iran, but he was poisoned in an assassination attempt. He survived because Amnesty International intervened. One letter, one team, one act of courage. That was 38 years ago. We survived genocide, we became refugees, and today I stand here having impacted over 100,000 women and girls in Kurdistan, Iraq. And that is hope in action. That is the domino effect of courage. So this Nansen Award is not just for me, but it's for all the women and girls who inspire our work every single day. It's for the courageous drivers who rescued us and the amazing Amnesty Rescue team who laid down their dominoes that day without ever knowing the chain of reaction they started. For years, I wondered who they were, where they lived, and whether they knew about me. And then yesterday, something extraordinary happened. Through a series of events that only the universe could choreograph, I learned that Sibella, part of the UNHCR team assigned to look after me, has a husband called Panos, who recognized my father's name and story. Panos was on the Iraq desk at Amnesty team in 1987, who wrote the letter that saved my father's life. I'm sure you can imagine how shocked we all were. It felt like Nansen was actually creating magic. Thank you, Panos, for you and your team for laying down the domino 38 years ago. And I'm standing here because of it. You see, when you go through displacement, your world becomes very small. But somehow, your hope becomes very, very big, because you're holding on to something. You're holding on to the belief that somewhere, someone will welcome you. And over the years, this is what I've learned. This is what welcoming refugees looks like. Not big systems or perfect plans, but ordinary people opening a door, offering a hand, saying you belong here. It's communities, quiet, determined, and compassionate, showing us what humanity really looks like when we get it right. And today, with funding cuts, those same communities are stepping up with creativity, with courage, and with real solutions. People who refuse to look away. People who understand that our shared future depends on how we treat those forced to flee. And I want to say this clearly. Refugees are change makers. They are peace builders, full of talent, skill, resilience, and innovation. When I look at the women that we work with in our programs, I don't see victims. I see leaders, entrepreneurs, healers, teachers, women who want to make a difference in the world because they've lived through something horrendous and they don't want anyone else to live through that. And now, businesses, investors, philanthropists are starting to realize and understand that welcoming refugees isn't charity, It's a smart, sustainable investment in our collective future. The astronomer Carl Sagan once asked us to look at our planet as a pale blue dot, a tiny, fragile world where everything we love, every story, every beginning, lives together in a single pixel of light. My own life, from a prison cell at the age of 4 to standing here tonight, fits on that same tiny dot. And so do the lives of millions who have been forced to flee. So if this award means anything, it's this. On this pale blue dot, we only thrive when we lift each other up, when we listen, when we include, and when we welcome. And when we truly see the potential in one another. Thank you so much for recognizing our work, and thank you for believing in refugees, in community, and in the power of hope to help us rebuild a world that's more compassionate, more connected, and full of possibility. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, Taban, that is amazing. That was absolutely magnificent, to say the least. I mean, what a story. What a story. You know, it's unbelievable, and so many of you in this room, you don't realize what you're actually doing. And the ability for Taban to stand here and all those years later say thank you to that person who saved her father's life. I mean, who would ever think that that's what's life? So it just shows you one small deed. You never know whose life you're changing. And that's what's so beautiful about it. What a magnificent story. Thank you so much, Taban. And also, High Commissioner, thank you very much for handing those out. I know we're going to call you back up to do our Global Laureate in just a moment's time. So we're getting ready, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome our next performance this evening, and it truly is a pleasure. It's been quite a celebration backstage, I must say. I've been listening to these amazing artists doing impromptu singing backstage, and it's lifted our souls. So we're about to lift your souls now. Our next performer's story is one of courage and one of hope. It seems that that's what tonight is about, courage and hope. Tucson is a musician and a singer from Sweden. He was born in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Tucson fled conflict as a young child, and he found refuge in Sweden. Now, in 2021, Tucson represented Sweden at the grand final of none other than Eurovision. It's the song contest that me and my family sit and watch, and we revel in it every single year. And this man was performing there, and he performed an unbelievable song called Voices. He is an ambassador for Sweden for UNHCR. He's here this evening with us to perform his song, Run. Please give him a warm welcome to stage, Tucson.
Thank you so much. I would like to begin by asking everybody to please close your eyes. And I want you to imagine just an ordinary day in your everyday life. Not the best moment, nor the worst, just a regular everyday moment with the people you love. For me, I would say when I'm outside of my house and I'm playing football and I hear my mother's voice coming in from the house, and she's saying my name and she's asking me to come inside. I'm very hungry, so I run to the kitchen. Imagine my disappointment when she just wants a hand in the kitchen. The food isn't ready yet. And I say, Mom, I'm hungry, crying because I'm only 5 years old. My mom looks at me and she says, Toussaint, when you're hungry, I want you to take your right hand and I want you to put your pinky in your mouth and bite it off. And if you're still hungry, go with the ring finger. And if you're still not hungry, well, go with the rest of the fingers. And we burst out laughing and we keep on preparing the stew. Now imagine in this everyday moment, this non-special day turns into the worst moment of your life. The armed men bursting in and taking your people. They're taking my mother and my father. This is my first memory, and it's the worst one. I remember my mother's last words to me. She told me to run. No, she was screaming, run. She told me to run and never come back home again. Don't just stand there, run, and never come back home again. Mama said, don't ever come back again. Don't ever come back again. Don't ever come back, come back, come back, come back again. She told me to run and never come back home again. Don't just stand there, run and never come back home again. My mama said, don't ever come back again. Don't you ever come back again, child. Don't ever come back. No, 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 no. Don't ever come back. Come back. Come back again. She told me to run, never come back home again. Don't just stand there, run, and never come back home again. Mama said, don't ever come back again. No, don't ever come back again. Don't ever come back, come back, come back again. Don't just stand there, run. Don't just stand there. Don't just stand there, run. Don't just stand there, run. Don't just stand there. What would you say if the soldiers came walking in? What would you do if they pointed a revolver at your mama right on? In that moment, I needed you. Mama said, she told me to run and never come back home again. Don't just stand there, run and never come back home again. Mama said, don't ever come back again. Don't ever come back again. Don't ever come back, come back, come back, come back again. Don't just stand there, run. Don't just stand there, run. Don't just stand there. Don't just stand there, run. Don't Don't just stand there, run. Don't just. What would you do if you were pushed away? And who would you trust if you're thrown into a trailer like human cargo? I try to tell. Mama said, she told me to run and never come back home again. Don't just stand there, run and never come back home again. Mama said, don't ever come back again. Don't ever come back again. Don't ever come back, come back, come back, come back. Oh, she told me to run. She told me to run. Just don't just stand there, run. Don't just stand there. Don't just stand there, run. Don't just stand there. Just run. Amadeo Quintanilla Lidström. Thank you.
Ah, man, Tisan, wow. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine my mother telling me to run and never come home. I don't know. I'm getting messages at my age from my mother, when are you coming home? And this is the reality. This is the reality. I can't tell you what's happening backstage. There's not a dry eye. I'm not sure if there are any dry eyes in the audience as well. But ladies and gentlemen, this has brought us to the moment that we've all been waiting for. And it is now time to honor our UNHCR Nansen Refugee Awards 2025 Global Laureate. He is a leader who has changed thousands of lives in his village in Cameroon. Let's learn a little bit more about a man named Chief Martin Azir Sodea.
Nous, les Baya, on a ce qu'on appelle Moinam, c'est un mouvement. C'est un mouvement des Baya qui est appelé recevoir, savoir partager avec tout le monde. Donc quand il vient, nous devons les recevoir et partager ce que nous-mêmes, la nourriture. Je m'appelle Sa Majesté Azia Sodia Martin, chef du village Gadou Bajere. Il y avait plus de 36 000 réfugiés qu'on a reçus ici. Ces réfugiés centrafricains qui fuyaient la guerre, les atrocités, les viols, des enlèvements, tant de choses. On ne pouvait pas accepter voir nos frères mourir atrocement. Non, on les a ouvert la porte et c'est ce qu'on a fait ensemble. On va faire autrement puisque quand quelqu'un est en détresse, il y a quelqu'un fuit, ouvre ta porte, tu le gardes. On parle du camp des réfugiés et du site des réfugiés. La distinction quand ils sont arrivés ici, nous n'avons pas demandé que ces réfugiés habitent dans leur camp. On laisse les réfugiés pénétrer le village comme ils veulent. Et nous aussi, nous entrons dans leur camp, dans leur site comme on veut. Et sans distinction, pas de barrière.
On a donné les places ici
construction habite dedans. Maintenant, j'ai fait 10 ans à 11 ans comme ça à Gado.
Nous savons que les réfugiés, quand ils viennent, ce n'est pas pour s'éterniser. La terre, quand on vient, on laisse la terre libre aux gens, ils travaillent, c'est pour quelque temps. Après, ils vont libérer. La terre ne va pas changer. La terre est toujours là. C'est une très grande fierté et Gado est porté à l'échelle mondiale. Gado représente l'Afrique, Gado représente le Cameroun.
Dans la collaboration, elle est simple, c'est comme si c'est nous. Donc, il n'y a pas de distinction, réfugiés, nationaux. Nous avons constaté que dans les salles de classe, on ne sait pas distinguer, à part l'enseignant qui sait que l'autre est réfugié, l'autre est national.
Ce n'est pas facile, ce n'est pas accepté de demander à tout le monde d'accepter, de faire ça. Mais on a eu un cœur et je dis merci encore à la population de Gado qui a accepté de recevoir.
To present the award to the 2025 Global Laureate, I am once again honored to welcome back on stage our High Commissioner.
I speak first. So here we are at this very important moment. But first, can I say that for 10 years, in fact, much more than that, I've been trying to explain, to convey to those who don't know, that being a refugee exposes you to some of the most difficult dilemmas and questions and choices that anybody, any human beings has to face. And I think To Song, in such a simple way, conveyed exactly that feeling. So I want to thank him very much from the bottom of my heart for having created this important emotion here. And before I speak about our global laureate, I want to also once again congratulate Negara, Pablo, Taban, and Proliska for their beautiful words. You know, working for UNHCR means being always at the borders of countries. And like I have said many times, being at the borders is where you see the worst and the best of humanity. And so obviously you represent the best of humanity. Thank you very much to all of you. And before, once again, bear with me one more second, I want to also thank Liane for, I won't have another opportunity to do it in front of all of you, so thank you, Liane, for your amazing leadership of this evening and really guiding us through this series of important moments of emotion. You are a fantastic goodwill ambassador for UNHCR. Let me now come to our global laureate, Chef Martin Sodea. We live in a world in which we hear every day, me first. Or, if I can be more straightforward, my country first. Several countries, some in particular, my country first. And I hope, Chef Sodea, that politicians will hear your voice, because you say the opposite. You say that it's not you first, but the others first. It's not you alone, but it's you, we, together. And I think that this is the most important message of your work, that comes from your work, that you make no distinctions regarding people who flee, you erect no barriers to push them back or to prevent them from seeking safety. We heard about Moynam. I hope, j'espère que je prononce de la manière la plus correcte. A beautiful name that means welcome and sharing. And that's asylum in the most basic form, in the purest form, that you are giving, you are opening up for people that flee, as you said in the video, from war, from persecution, from rape, and from violence. So, merci, Chef Soder. Merci à vous. Merci à votre communauté de Gado. Comme vous l'avez bien dit dans la vidéo, Gado, c'est un village, une communauté. Gado, c'est au Cameroun. Gado, symbolise l'hospitalité de l'Afrique. Je suis tellement content que à cette soirée Nansen, que pour moi, c'est la dernière en tant que haut-commissaire, on célèbre l'hospitalité de l'Afrique. Merci beaucoup.
That we celebrate Africa's hospitality. Thank you.
Et on célèbre votre manière qui est tellement pure et tellement généreuse d'accueillir ceux qui fuient.
Of welcoming those who flee in such a generous way. That is the asylum that we talk about at UNHCR in its purest form. So a great thank you to you.
Switch back to English to say, we heard Chief Soder say about this welcoming. It was not something everyone was expected to do, but we had the heart of it. This is another important truth, that making the decision to welcome requires courage. And when I hear politicians say that they cannot make that decision because public opinion is nervous about that, please listen to Chief Soder, who makes this decision, although not everybody is convinced, but opens up to those who flee. This is really what it is all about. So we honor you. On vous honore, Chef Soder. On honore votre gens de Gado-Badzere.
Honor your village of Gado-Badzere because you have showed to the world, and this is what we want to say tonight, you say to the world that to welcome is possible. To welcome represents the very heart of our humanity. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome on stage Chief Martin Nazir Soder from Cameroon, our Global Laureate for 2025.
Thank you, Your Excellency, Mr. High Commissioner. Filippo Grandi, and good evening to everyone. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, tonight I want to speak simply, not as a traditional chief, but as a son of the village of Gado Badzere. I think of my friend Amadou in so doing. He arrived in our village as a refugee with almost nothing, just the desire to survive and protect his family. We showed him a place to rest, and he got back on his feet. Today, his farm is right across from mine, and just as big as mine. When I look at him, I don't see him as a stranger. I see him as a neighbor, a brother, a hard worker. That is the result of sharing. Distress has turned into hope, and hope has turned into work. Receiving the Nansen Refugee Award is not the achievement of one man. It is the recognition of an entire community, Gado Badzere, which chose to open its doors and its heart. In our culture, Gbaya Moinam, we grew up with a simple rule. Food is shared, and the hand that gives never becomes poor. This is not just a proverb, it is a way of living together, passed down by our ancestors and repeated by our parents. When the first brothers and sisters from the Central African Republic, fleeing violence and atrocities, knocked on our door, we didn't ask, "Who are you?" We let them in. And we said, "Rest. We are together." And because we opened our doors, Gado has grown. Refugees and hosts work side by side. Children learn together, and conflicts are resolved through dialogue. In health centers, refugees and hosts receive the same care. This is the proof that inclusion, even when resources are modest, builds peace and dignity. I would like to proudly express my country's solidarity in welcoming and including more than 400,000 refugees. Opening the border is one thing. Allowing people to live with dignity, access social services, and be included in national systems is another. My own life journey to becoming a traditional chief has taught me that peace is not achieved through force, but through compassion. When you look someone in the eye and say, "Come on, let's share what we have," you disarm fear. So yes, challenges indeed remain. There's more forced displacement and fewer resources, but solutions do exist. They start with community and sharing. This award will help us strengthen what we are already doing. Farming better, learning better, resisting better together for refugee and host families. In Gado, when you welcome a refugee, you welcome a part of yourself. I would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute to my ancestors who established the tradition of welcoming strangers. My father, Sodea Gado, my predecessor, Umaru Emmanuel, and finally the courageous people of Gado Badzere and the people of Cameroon. May this recognition inspire us to keep the flame of humanity alive. Thank you.
amazing. Thank you so much, Chief Martin, for sharing your beautiful story. What a night, what a night. We have one more performance for you, and this performance is another one of those that is just truly special. We've got a young Ukrainian singer with us tonight, and she's a performer who has found refuge in Sweden. She's also an ambassador for Sweden for the UNHCR. She uses her own experience of displacement to shine the light on challenges that refugees face and inspire empathy and action around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, give her a warm welcome. She's a little bit nervous, and no reason to be nervous, to come and perform in front of this beautiful audience. And I told them, this is a stunning audience. Come out and enjoy every minute. Ladies and gentlemen, Maria Sul.
Even though I'm caught inside a storm, I know I deserve a better life. Even though I really miss my home, baby, I'm not gonna break. I won't fall under the weight. Always gonna hold my ground. When I'm standing in the rain, no one's gonna save me from the pain. I will never, never give up. When I'm crying out of chains, I don't have surrender in my veins. I will never, never give up. Once you got as a fighter, and I walk through the fire, I will never, never, never give up. Don't wanna tame the beast inside. Tell me, take what's truly mine. Baby, I'm not gonna break. I won't fall under the weight. Always gonna hold my ground. When I'm standing in the rain, no one's gonna save me from the pain. I will never, never give up. When I'm crying out of chains, I don't have surrender in my veins. I will never, never give up. What you got is a fighter, and I walk through the fire. I will never, never, never give When I'm crying in the rain, no one's gonna heal me from the pain. I will never, never give up. It's gonna save me from the pain. I will never, never give up. Oh, 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 oh. I will never, never, never give up.
Okay. Thank you so much, Maria. Congratulations and well done. I hope that you have enjoyed these incredible artists that we've had for you tonight. I mean, these performers, whether we talk about Ahmed, who took us into the rubble of Syria and performing in that magnificent outfit of his on the rubble. I mean, just absolutely beautiful. Tucson, who was told to run and never come home. And then, of course, we just heard from Maria, to tell us never to give up. These are messages that I hope you take with you forever. These stories remind us of the incredible strength and the human spirit and the difference that every single one of us in this room can make. You have been an amazing audience. I cannot begin to thank you for being so warm and for being so welcoming of everyone that's been on the stage. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. Thank you. Now, yes, give yourselves a round of applause. This evening wouldn't have been possible without the generous support of our amazing partners. I know that the Commissioner gave us a glimpse at the beginning of the evening into the generosity of those that have come forth to be able to help us put this together. The Swiss government, thank you so much. State Council of the Republic and Canton of Geneva, the Administrative Council of the City of Geneva, and of course the Government of Norway, and to the IKEA Foundation. You have supported this evening's awards, and we thank you so very, very much. We invite you to share in that same spirit of giving. Each one of us can actually support refugees, and it doesn't need to be in a massive way. In fact, we've made it easy for you this evening. All you have to do is go outside, and there is a beautiful stand. It's called Made 51. And this is in the reception area, where you'll find handcrafted products made by refugee artisans. This year, Sudanese refugee artisans created the handcrafted elements of the peace tree that you've seen on display. And we invite you to visit the Made 51 display, and you can add your own wish for Sudan, for peace in Sudan. Each message becomes another leaf that connects your voice with theirs. So please, we urge you to engage in that today. Then, of course, the cuisine, the food. I hope we've got you hungry, because we've got some amazing food for you. It's catered by Cuisine Lab. It's a Geneva-based social enterprise, and their team of passionate refugee chefs are going to bring you incredible flavors from around the world. So you'll be able to enjoy that this evening as you make your way outside. To learn more about the Refugee Awards, please visit unhcr.org/Nansen, and you'll be able to find out everything you need there. At this point, I would like to ask the High Commissioner, the artists, the winners, all Nansen partners and Goodwill ambassadors, if you could please make your way backstage at this point. We would really appreciate it, just to smooth things out about. So please make your way up onto the stage, and you can make your way backstage. In the meantime, this is just for the winners and for those that have been involved in this as well. Kate, I think you're also coming up, and those that have worked, the winners, please do come up. In the meantime, what I'm going to ask all of you is to please remain in your seats for just a couple of minutes until we get everybody onto the stage and backstage. And if you don't mind, those headphones that you've been using that have been incredibly helpful, if you could please just leave them on your seats. And the High Commissioner and the winners will see you in the reception shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you for being an amazing audience, and enjoy the rest of the evening. Good night, everyone.